Hello and welcome to episode 8 of our series of Blades in the Dark. As always, there'll be a playlist on screen if you've missed any previous episodes. Today we're joined by Mathilda and Haywood, and we're going to drop in and see what they've been up to since we last saw them. What have you two been up to since we last saw you?
Haywood's not really been up to a huge amount. He's still recovering from the trauma and stress of the horse's incidents, and has just about managed to cover the physical effects from that. Of being smashed by a door and the smoke inhalation. So he's just taking a bit of time to rest and recuperate and get his strength back and just de-stress a little bit.
Mathilda, what about you?
So Mathilda has been embarrassed because she saw her boyfriend last time and is kind of hiding, kind of decided to take a chill time, keep away out the limelight for a bit, in order not to accidentally run to him again, and then just helping the others with their stuff, trying, chilling.
Okay.
Oh, actually, she has been inspired by how Mittens made a really awful cup of tea, so has since been trying to make an even worse cup of tea. Currently throwing everything into the kettle at once, shaking it a bit, and boiling it. It's as far as she's gotten.
Oh, the pain of just imagining that actually happening. Oh, that's the real trauma. Well, I mean, it's not quite as traumatic as the horse, but the second most traumatic thing was that cup of tea that Mittens made. Third would probably be blowing up a police station and killing 4 people. I think they're the top 3 for me. Cool. So, in terms of other things that have been happening, I assume everyone has been kind of filled in on events. Obviously, Mathilda was last here, stealing an item from a police station for the box that they have, and so Haywood hasn't been around for any of these, but assume someone's told him what's going on. So as you're in the base, what's everyone up to?
Haywood's up to his usual when he's got his downtime and he's just chilling.
No.
He's just
Oh no.
he's not no.
We don't want to hear anything more about the horse.
There's nothing to do with the horse. That suit has been thoroughly cleaned and is now in storage. It has not seen any use recently. I'm just enjoying a nice whiskey in my laboratory.
Is that what you call the horse?
I will have you know that Jenna has gone out for the day. So I'm just enjoying my alone time with my whiskey. Which is not making this any better.
Can you rescue this at all, Mathilda?
I was gonna say I probably would have tried to break into the storage. I'm gonna try steal the horse costume.
That makes sense. Yeah, make a roll for breaking into the...
I suppose I have nothing for this. Well, no, I have a finesse. I'll try shimmy the lock and give that a go. And 3.
I'm afraid the door's a bit beyond your lock jimmying skills.
Worth a shot. Oh, what's the ghost's name?
Madeline.
Madeline, Madeline.
What?
you're no way that you can make other things non-corporeal. Oh, okay.
I could float into the storage, but then, well, I'd just be floating around the storage locker,
No, it's fine.
and then I could leave again. But I couldn't.
What?
I couldn't take a.
I was gonna play a prank on Hayward. Next time.
I mean, I'm always up for pranks on Hayward.
I suppose we could look for. Think you can make like horse noises, like the middle of the night, to disturb him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I can do that.
Burning horse actually would be ideal.
Sorry, what horse?
Burning horse, like horse on fire. Like the sound a horse would make while it's on fire.
I mean, that's dark, but yeah, don't see why not.
I've been traumatized by this story retold many a time. I think Hayward deserves some trauma.
I lived through the story.
And have very little shame about it.
Hayward, overnight you hear the exact sound of a burning horse.
I wake up in the middle of the night and go like running into my laboratory to find more whiskey.
This keeps going on for a while until you just apparently drink yourself into a stupor and go
Sounds
back to
good.
sleep.
Yeah, I just sort of fall asleep in my wing seat chair in my lab.
You wake up with Mathilda, you wake up the next morning with Madeline just kind of floating around like didn't really work.
Hey boo. We tried. Next time. We'll
Get him.
we'll brainstorm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Better. We'll come up. I have a think.
Yeah. I reckon we've got about 12 days to come up with something better.
Ooh.
Oh, actually, while I've got you though, was getting a little bit of help going through some notes. As I'm sure you're aware, not all of my old notes are in my possession anymore. So it's been a little bit tricky to find everything that we need. And I suspect this information is in the notes that were stolen. But there is a Leviathan oil company. They have a factory based in Dwimble. It is owned by people that I hear you might have met before, in fact. I believe you made acquaintances of a certain Lafayette and Monica Burns.
Yeah.
You get quite a party of
text.
theirs.
Yeah. Just checking. Yeah, just making sure.
Yes. Well, as I'm sure you're aware, a lot of their wealth comes from their Leviathan oil companies. They've got a processing plant here in Dwimble. And I believe really from a series of people not really understanding the significance of any of this, but I believe based in that plant might actually be the location of the last thing we're looking for.
Well, I suppose we can help you retrieve it.
That would be wonderful.
Okay. Hayward,
Yo.
Are
I
you
don't know why I said
busy?
yeah. I've never said that in my life. The whiskey talking. Yeah.
Are you
Um,
busy?
no, not at all.
Do you want to go do some crims?
I'm always up for that.
Cool. We've never buddied up before.
What do we got to do?
So there's a Leviathan plant that may have the last thing we're looking for.
Hmm.
Now I went to a party, so I kind of know. Is it associates of the party, or is it that own it, or it's the Burns that own it?
So the Burns own the
Right. Okay.
the overall business. Obviously, they're not like
Right.
particularly
Okay.
involved
That's
day to
fine.
day. They're rich and they do
That's
nothing,
fine.
but ultimately it's owned by them. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, I went along to a party that for the owners of the company, but probably won't know anyone there. Thankfully.
I'm in for this.
Cool. Do some steals, do some crims.
As always. When in doubt, talk our way in. Honest thieves.
And you can be the honest one. I just like whatever's fun.
A reputation of kind of talking my way out of things.
But bring along your whiskey there, and
Oh, I'll bring whiskey.
let's go.
Cool. So I run to the little cabinet in my lab and pack up a few fine bottles of whiskey, and then run up to the storage room and pack the other whiskey.
You okay there, Claire?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Do I want to ask?
I didn't start this. At least not today. I didn't.
So, in terms of what we want to see, there's if you let's assume you were to go down during the day. It's in the middle of Coleridge, which is the kind of industrial part of Grimble. You're over in 6 hours, and take you too long to get there. During the day you can just wander down. It's pretty busy. It's not particularly odd for anyone to be wandering around and looking at things. So in terms of being able to go there and have a quick scope out from the outside, it's pretty straightforward. You go there, what you basically see is quite a large factory. It's got a big sort of iron fence around the outside. And then kind of inside, obviously you can see during the day there are security guards stood at the front, and they're obviously kind of checking stuff that's going in and out, and there's obviously a lot of people. There's obviously deliveries going in and some shipments going out, and you can see quite a lot of people kind of wandering around, doing things, kind of unloading, loading, as well as obviously. From the outside, you can kind of see there's some quite large windows, obviously to keep it well lit, and you can kind of see enough through those that you can see there's obviously quite a lot of people inside. It's a very large factory. That's quite obvious. So you've got you obviously got like the main manufacturing section on the ground floor. As well as some big warehouses. So obviously they kind of bring in large amounts of Leviathan oil. They process it into usable energy store, and they obviously store a lot of that on the ground floor as well. You can also see a bunch of it kind of goes up, and clearly on like the first and second floor look much more like sort of offices and that kind of thing. So yeah, big factory with sort of some what's the right word, like administrative type support going on in the background. Is there anything else you'd maybe want to have a look at whilst you're here?
Like, is it possible to have a bit of a survey and see if there's any like slightly more hidden entrances into this place, or a study of this place? Sorry, study the place and see if there's any like hidden entrances, or like not hidden but more obscure ways in, rather than things like the main gate.
Less guarded and obvious.
Yeah, go for it. Make a roll for it.
6 and a 4.
Cool. What you're looking at. So you've got this in front of you. You're on like quite a major street. There's obviously a lot of carts going up and down. There's a lot of deliveries going on. You basically got this. You've kind of got like on this street, you've got about 5 in a row, really large factories that are doing, obviously quite significant processing. They're pretty much just like next to each other. Each of them is, up on big, these same sort of big iron fences, basically going around each one. They're kind of connected, so obviously to save money on that. This entire row of factories is owned by the Burns family. And you're kind of seeing similar things. Like you've got the one that's Leviathan Oil. They also have an ore smelting plant that's making iron and steel and such. So they've got a couple that are processing different that then manufacturing different goods out of the two of them. And then they've also got one that they use for processing and packaging food. So you basically got these in a row, and Leviathan Oil's right in the middle of it. This is all on like a main road. With the nature of the city being very cramped, just at the back of it, you can see some less busy sort of office type buildings. It's not like super obvious exactly what they are, but in terms of like, you can see that they go up sort of 3 stories high. They're pretty close to the fence. They kind of overlook, and if you kind of make your way off that street and down a little side street, and then it's kind of in a little alley around the back, so it's kind of been very much stuck in that section of it, a lot quieter.
Do we have like a description of the kind of clothes of the workers like coming in and out of the building or wearing?
Pretty generic. So you can see the 2 security guards, and there's other bits of security kind of wandering around as well, the building and the premises. Obviously, corporate espionage is a thing that happens in this world that they're very concerned about. So there's kind of quite a bit of security around. You can see they're clearly wearing a specific uniform. Beyond that, most of the workers are wearing pretty generic clothes, just kind of dark overalls. There's not anything particular about them. If you had anything similar, you'd probably be able to pass off. Just make a kind of study survey type roll.
Yeah, survey. 5 and a 4.
Cool. One thing you do get a glimpse of that stands out is when they have a delivery. You can't quite see exactly what they're showing, but it looks like they've got some kind of identifying documents that they're showing to the security guards as they're kind of going. They've kind of got their paperwork saying what they're bringing with them, as well as something that looks like an additional card that they have. You don't get to see, and you can't quite get close enough without being obviously suspicious to see what exactly they're showing, but you can see they do have something that's clearly like an ID document.
Ooh. I don't think there's anything else I can do for. Oh, and just like Madeline, I assume doesn't have, like, does she have any idea where it would be, or just that it's in the building?
Yeah, so from your conversation previously, her guess is probably in one of the offices upstairs, but the exact location is unclear.
According to my load, I could potentially have documents that could either potentially get us in the front door, which means we could hopefully pass by unnoticed, or we try and sneak in through the back door. Hayward's not the most sneaky, though.
Neither is Matilda. I like being bold and daring.
I was going to ask, is there a flashback where I could have potentially... Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, like we haven't started, we're just surveying and
we haven't really started the score, so
yeah.
Simple answer is yes.
So I could have, like, forged documents. Potentially.
Yes. I mean, or you can, obviously you've kind of seen that what sort of roughly, you can't see exactly what they are, but you kind of have an idea. I mean, you could now just go and forge documents. It doesn't make much difference. But yeah.
Okay.
But as in, like, pre-score, if that's what you, if your entrance you want to make is forging documents and trying to talk your way in,
I think that's the best course of action.
Then absolutely. Are you just planning on going in during the day?
What time was the delivery?
Or
is it a place that gets regular deliveries throughout the day?
They get pretty regular deliveries, some bigger than others. So I'm going to assume you've been there for sort of a couple of hours wandering around a bit and, looking not very suspicious. That you saw a pretty large delivery coming in about 10 o'clock in the morning. You've seen a few deliveries going in throughout the day. Like, it's been pretty constant. Some obviously bigger than others. Some are pretty small, dropping off just like more, I don't know, like technical parts for a machine or whatever. But yeah, so you've seen a sort of large amount of Leviathan oil coming in.
Okay, I've got two plans.
Okay.
One of them is we both walk up to the door, and I go up with our documentation saying we have a delivery. But what delivery is small enough that just two people can walk in carrying it? My other plan is I'm sure we could rope Jenna in, and we strap whiskey to a cart, and we have a cart of deliveries.
Why does the worst one sound like it would work better?
Gaijin, you can just get a real horse.
That costs money.
I know a guy. I know a guy.
You don't have to get Jenna and presumably Matilda to dress up as a horse and pull a cart. You just get a real horse.
How expensive are real horses?
You can afford it, I promise.
Fine. We'll get a real horse.
You can call it whiskey if you want.
We will. We'll call it Whiskey Mark II. I'm taking no responsibility for any of this.
It's all you.
It was Mittens. Mittens started all of this.
Mittens wasn't the one who had a horse costume.
Oh.
No. We're still blaming Mittens.
Cool. Right. We'll get a horse and go and act like we're supposed to be there.
Cool. So I mean, because I was over generous on some of the cash the gang got, I mean it's pretty straightforward to find, you know, like there are plenty of businesses in the area that don't have like a standing horse and cart. They'll just hire one for a delivery, make the delivery and return it. So you know, it's easy enough to just kind of go to one of those and be like, okay, I need to hire a horse and cart if to make a delivery. Straightforward. So yeah, so presumably are you grabbing anything to stick in the back?
We need something to go in the back, otherwise we're turning up with an empty cart.
Oh,
Wait, our trade route. I'm assuming we're getting supplies from that. That we're bringing in wine from Arcros to sell to the hound dogs, I believe.
Foghounds.
Foghounds.
They ain't nothing but a hound dog, yes.
What are the chances of filling our wagon with the wine that we've imported from Arcros? As a treat for the workers from the boss.
I mean, the first half seems pretty reasonable. The second half doesn't, but it's fine.
Or the boss has just wanted a load of wine and is getting it delivered.
I mean, that seems more reasonable. Yeah, no, absolutely fine. So that makes sense. Yep. Cool. So, is there anything else kind of involved in it, or are you basically, you know, getting the latest shipment of wine, loading up into a cart, driving up to the front door, forging some documents, saying we're here to deliver some wine for the bosses?
Yep. Seems like a legitimate plan.
Cool. In which case, let's make the engagement roll off the back of that then, and see how well this goes. So, obviously, as always, 1d6 for sheer luck. And then we have, is this operation particularly bold or daring?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Straight in the front door.
Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
yeah. I feel like my fella knows the business owners. He kind of has his, seems to have his like fingers in a few pies. So I'll probably get a few. We call them up.
I can't imagine Jenna has weaseled away into this business as a servant after the fiasco at the racecourse, burning her job down.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else. So 3d6. Let's see how this goes. Okay. I mean, that's a 4, that's a 4, and that's a 3. So take a 4. That's not bad. So pretty straightforward. Load it up. Presumably between the two of you know how to ride a horse and cart. I say that, I mean, I assume Mathilda knows how to drive a horse and cart, and I assume Haywood knows how to sit next to someone who can drive a horse and cart.
There's definitely been nights out where I've
I was just going to say Hayward knows his way around a horse, but
Hayward's not touching the horse.
And Haywood takes 2 stress.
is that canon?
I really want it to be canon. I think it's just a reflection of the stress that we've taken. Not this time, but next time.
Okay, no.
Yeah, gives you a final warning.
Yeah. Yes, right. I'm assuming Mathilda. I assume Mathilda has stolen her fair share of horses.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Probably this might be the first time you've driven one sober.
Yeah.
And that's not helping.
Does not have to be.
Okay, is canonically Mathilda getting drunk and or high?
Probably not drunk, but definitely getting to initial buzz.
Okay.
At least. And like getting that and then trying to toe that line.
Alright, so her normal level of
Yeah.
of buzz, nothing.
Her sober.
Yeah. Nothing quite enough to negatively impact the score. That's fine. So cool, you get to that stage, start driving. It's going pretty well. You know how to drive a horse and cart whilst a little bit high. I mean, this is still probably the most sober you've ever driven one, but yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's not a bad journey. It's not massively long. You basically go down to the docks to pick up, get someone to load it up, and then drive it over to Coleridge. It's probably about 4 in the afternoon at this point. After all the scouting and then setting up and getting everything done. That you find yourself riding up to the factory. You see the 2 security guards at the front. They have so they basically have like two sets of gates, and they're kind of in a little booth next to it. So the first one is kept open, and it's the second one that's closed. And as you go in, it's basically long enough for you to ride horse and cart in. One of them jumps out and closes the gate behind you, and wanders over to where the 2 of you sat at the front of the cart and says, right, what have we got here then?
Good evening, gentlemen. Shipment of wine for the boss.
Oh, is he on another one already?
Yeah.
Didn't even have the last one. Well, it wasn't even a week ago. Bloody drunkard. Doesn't do anything. Alright, you got your requisition form?
Yeah, I take the documents out and hand them to him.
Alright. You see him just kind of take it over to the person he's on duty with, and they have a bit of a chat.
Everything all right?
Well, I mean, this is a requisition form we've used for a long time. It's a bit.
Oh, did he?
It's been a while since we supplied your boss. We've just come into some new wine that's very exquisite, and your boss has just heard about this. And fortunately, we only had the old requisition forms on our property at the time, so we filled one in.
You're not gonna make us go back, all the way back. And you're like, oh.
Your boss won't be too happy if he doesn't get this wine. He's looking forward to this, the finest Arcaros wine that's ever been delivered to this land.
Like, I've battled woman sitting there. I can't be going back over them cobbles and then all the way back. Like,
No,
can we work something out? Like,
it's fine. We're not going to make you go all the way back, but you know, we are going to need you to there's just some extra paperwork you got to do. We'll just, you know, I'll go in with you. I'll leave my man here.
Can I grab one of the bottles of wine and just be, man, we get an allowance for how many of these might tip off? I can write one off. If you can make it a little bit easy that we don't have to go through all this faff.
We've always got a couple of extra for the likes of you.
Alright, well, I mean, yeah, there's just a little paperwork that wanted you to do just but you know, I'm sure it won't be any problem for he's kind of saying this as he sort of subtly takes the wine bottle and sort of passes it behind him to his mate, who kind of snatches it away.
We'll give you another one for you as well, one for each year.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
We can sign whatever you need. No problem. No problem.
All right. Well, thank you very much. He opens the gates in front of you, and just kind of sort of jumps in, sort of next to you, but sort of sideways, and just says, "Oh, just head down just to the right, and then there's a little unloading bay we got there."
Good.
I set them off into a trot, or it off.
Yep. In terms of like the system, it's pretty straightforward. Like, you know, you kind of go in down the left and you go right across the front of the factory, and then there's you know, a secondary gate that's like the exit. That's basically the other side of the, you know, the booth that they're in, and you know they so you know, you just go down there, you kind of park up, and then you complete the loop and go out. So it's pretty straightforward to, you know, follow where to go. So yeah, you kind of trot down. You see there's a couple of guys who are just kind of stood around outside the front, and as soon as they see you starting to make your way down, one of them just kind of stands just in front of where, you know, you need to stop, just so it's kind of nicely lined up for them to unload. The other one's just kind of stood there, just basically at the entrance to their storage, who's pretty much just gonna just take them straight off. So as you go in, kind of presumably park up just in front of the guy. The two of them run over. The guard just kind of beckons you over. It says, "Right, just come with me a sec." Takes you in, just inside the delivery area. He just kind of runs in, grabs a form. There's just an empty document, and just kind of grabs what you've got and just basically copies it just into you know, an existing document, that obviously is then, you know, their current requisition forms. All right, well, we got everything you need on this one, so yeah, I'll just get you know, just get the finance team to double check it and sign it, and write your check.
Sounds good.
I think we're supposed to carry these up.
Yeah, Yeah, we got a special case. Special case.
We're,
Hand
they're- we're insured to deliver them ourselves.
hand delivered to the boss's door.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can come with and supervise if you need. We just
Oh yeah. I mean,
With-
yeah,
with-
yeah.
yeah.
I'll have to, but that's fine. I'll give you a hand carrying them as well. We got two lads here as well. You know, they'll obviously help carry up, so you don't have to. Be carrying stuff up downstairs while they're full.
It's only one case special delivery for the boss. Should be just fine with just you.
Oh, is it? I just assumed what the boss is like. I just assumed it would be about 40 bottles, but
No. The others are all right down here. He just wants this one case delivered right now.
all right, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's fine. Look, yeah, I mean, obviously I have to go with you because you don't know where to go. But also, I don't tend to, show people up to the boss, but you seem like trustworthy folks. But yeah, just give me one sec. You see, there's a just next to the delivery area. There's a little kind of admin room. It's basically where he ran in to grab the form. And he goes back in and finds someone who looks quite young and in a slightly ill-fitting suit. That he kind of hands the requisition form to, and it's just kind of saying, "All right, delivery," and you just kind of see the guy go, "Okay, right. So how many bottles was it?"
and 9 in this crate, and then this.
10 crates on the cart.
Yeah.
90 bottles. Well, 99 if you include the case we're holding.
99 bottles on the cart.
Did not plan that.
Okay, well, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wonderful. You see him just kind of wander over to the other crates and do a quick.
And is that 2 that got that kind of had hopped off, and our guys are aware of it.
Oh, okay, so 97 in total, right?
Yeah.
You see him basically just count through. Wonderful. Your order form's already been signed, so wonderful. Just kind of signs a section at the bottom. Runs off back into the warehouse, and the form that you've done, presumably it's there's some business venture that you've set up that owns a company that does the actual shipping, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, he basically writes a check for the company that you've got as the one that presumably Hayward set up to that's probably based in Arcross to avoid paying dwindle tax and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you see him write out the check for it and sign it, gives you the check, and goes back into his office. All right, would you like to come with me then? He kind of comfortably hoists up a case of wine. So this is like a little. So this is basically like a little extension, kind of on the side of the factory. So it then kind of takes you through. Obviously, this is kind of added on to the factory. There's very large doors that lead through into the main hall. You can see in this section. Then there's basically loads of stuff just stored in this sort of area. So as you kind of see the doors through, you can basically see it. So here on your left, you've got two large doors that lead through to rooms that then have a set of large doors that lead to the main floor of the factory. And in one is basically a bunch of raw materials, and in the other is a bunch of finished product, or containers to put finished product in, that they then use to kind of push out into the area when they get a new delivery. Just past that, there's a little staircase up that takes you up onto the first floor. When you get up to the first floor, it kind of takes you along and then into a main corridor, which is actually not a distinct corridor on the first floor. It's more like a railing and oversight. So you've got on your left, you've got some offices that are sort of more like office foreman type offices, and obviously they've then got like a first floor railing they can kind of walk across and keep an eye on what everyone's up to and make sure everything's going smoothly. You've also got there as you walk past, so that's on to your left as you walk up. To your right then, you walk past what looks like a bunch of quite technical rooms. So you can see a bunch of people in there, slightly nicer dressed than the kind of majority of the factory workers, who are kind of sat there there's like a bunch of dials and gauges and stuff. It's basically all the diagnostics of the factory that make sure everything is running correctly. So they're all kind of there monitoring, taking notes, and kind of chatting about things. And there's one quite young-looking, nervous one, like making notes as they kind of call different measurements out, and you see someone kind of run off to go like make a check on a bit of machinery, kind of thing. Takes you up past those, and it takes you up to another staircase that leads you up, and this takes you into the second floor. It's a little bit of a maze of corridors. You find yourself walking through, walking through twisting corridors, past sort of little meeting rooms and offices, some sort of R&D sections that are more investigating possibilities for the material, and eventually into a small group of offices which are very ornate looking, and have sort of name tags on them, that they're that fancy, with quite elaborately carved doors. As he kind of leads you up there, there's kind of 5 doors at the end of the corridor, so kind of 2 and then 1 at the end and then 2. The one right at the end is for Anne Egbert Burns, who's the CEO, as well as then you've got like a CEO, COO, a CFO, and chief marketing officer and chief strategy officer as well, of the 5. He kind of looks back and goes, so which one ordered, which one are you delivering to?
It was actually Lafayette had actually gifted them, so there's actually later on the other buildings will be getting them, so I think it's to Egbert.
Oh, okay, all right. He looks a little bit nervous as he goes to kind of goes to knock on the door, and you see him slightly hesitant before he kind of commits to giving it a bit of a knock. You hear a voice, come in, and he opens the door, and carries in. We've got a delivery for you, sir. are you planning on following him into the office?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, you kind of think, oh, wonderful. What is it? Oh, it's some special wine from Arcross that Lafayette is gifting. Okay, that's one of. Let's just leave it down the side. As
While
the two of you.
while
Oh, sorry.
yeah, while we're in here putting stuff down, can I do like a quick look around the room to see if anything of note, like, is there a safe? Is there something on a shelf that might be what we're looking for?
Yes. So, as you kind of walk in, why don't you both make a roll for it?
It's a 1 and a 5. I thought it was a 3 for a second. I got 5, but it's a 5.
6 and a 5.
Wonderful. So as you walk in, trying to scan around, there's a lot of kind of interesting random things just kind of dotted around. None of them so far that you see look like anything that you're familiar with. Haywood, as you kind of let's assume you walk in first, you kind of with the sense that you are just kind of interested in the decor. Obviously, they put a lot of effort into making these places look fancy, so they're not particularly surprised that someone might walk in and wander around with a sense of awe of the office. You know what you're looking for, and there's plenty of like random artifacts. There's like bits of sort of interesting figures carved from Leviathan teeth that they're clearly a fan of, and plenty of paintings, and some interesting wooden carvings and some portraits on the walls of kind of previous sort of CEOs of the company, including you see Lafayette Burns, that obviously you've never met, but Mathilda would recognise. Mathilda, as you kind of initially make your way towards you, obviously trying to scan out what's around, you get somewhat distracted when you see the person sat behind the desk, who is a somewhat familiar figure. He looks up and is slightly surprised. At that point, the security guard is putting the case of wine down, on the side, and composes himself in time for the guy to stand up, and says, "Oh, I'll." It's very good of you to help deliver. Actually, I'm glad you showed them up for a meeting that we have. I'll show them down later. These are important clients of ours. We obviously wouldn't want to show them any ill hospitality, would we? So yes, if you go about on your way, and yes, don't worry about showing them back downstairs. I'll make sure that they have a pleasant stay. The security guard kind of goes, "Oh, thank you," and kind of leaves the room as quickly as he can. He just kind of runs out the corridor. Clearly doesn't want to get noticed too much by the boss, who gestures for you to close the door.
I'll go over and close the door.
Well,
good to put a name to the face.
I didn't think you were that desperate to see me again, Mathilda.
Oh. I'm gonna like whisper to him. Need to go.
I preferred your previous companion, personally. Egbert Burns. He reaches out a hand towards you, Hayward.
I reach out my hand, and unfortunately I didn't quite catch the name. Pleasure to meet you.
What was your name?
Whitlock. Hayward Whitlock.
Oh, the Arcaros.
Yes.
Ah.
Finest producers of wine in the land.
Well, yes. So I've heard actually. I admit I've not heard the name Hayward, but
I divulged from the winemaking business to study here in Dwimble. My parents are still running the business back in Arcross.
Wonderful. What were your parents' names?
I never learnt their names. I learnt them as father and mother. Left.
Mumsy and Papa.
Today they're still father and mother.
So
This is what I expect when I'm DMing, not when I'm playing.
but like, I can understand that you just made up a character that you don't know the parents' names. You got one character to worry about.
I never thought about his parents' name. Yes, mother and father are still running the business back home. When I'm at home,
Sorry, not to.
Matilda is laughing in real life. Like, sorry, in game, she burst her shit.
when I'm at home, they are mummy and daddy. Mother Whitlock and father Whitlock. They run the vineyard.
I see. It was a Valentine Whitlock that I met. It was about 5 years ago now.
Oh, Valentine Whitlock. I believe that would have been my brother.
Oh. Yes. Certainly. Yes, can certainly see where that he got the looks of the family, didn't he?
He definitely did.
No comment on the brains either, but there we go.
I've made my name as a professor. I'm quite happy.
Certainly. Of course, he seemed to remember his parents' name when I asked him, but there we go.
Well, he was always the favourite child.
So far.
Is this guy the reason why you've not been returning my carrier pigeons? I would have thought you'd be able to do better than this.
No, it doesn't come down. It's just not. I'm not in a place right now to be seeing other people. Like mentally, there's just a lot going on in my life, and I just, and Matilda's just getting more and more flustered on like how to get out of not let someone down without like being obvious about it. Like try give a hint.
He kind of interrupts by sort of gesturing over to the wine, and says, "Well, we might as well make use of what you brought. It'll be suspicious if I just let you leave straight away. I did tell them that you were here for a meeting, so you might as well." It's, kind of pulls under his desk and just pulls out 3 wine glasses. You made all this trouble to deliver some wine. You might as well enjoy a drink.
And I potentially, before we do, I want to run it by Matilda as like a flashback idea.
Okay.
As in like one of the bottles, assuming that we'll take the bottle out of the case, one of the bottles, before it was sealed, it was one of the more prestigious bottles, I slipped a vial of slumber essence into it.
Sure. But I have no issues with this.
That seems pretty reasonable as a thing to do.
Yeah.
Just make a roll. That might be irrelevant depending on how things go. But make a roll probably in like the finesse sort of area.
It was one dice and just take the number.
All right. Yep.
That was a crap. I dropped my dice. Reroll my other one. A 3.
Okay. So yeah, he gestures. Yes, let's get a bottle of wine. Obviously, you know which one that one is. Is that the one you're going to grab?
Yes, and the way I want to do it is I want to take it, open the bottle, pour a little taster into the glass, and offer him a taste of the glass to make sure he is happy with it. As you do with any official wine tasting, make sure he's happy with the taste of the wine before we pour a full glass.
Can I gesture for you to pour me a little taste as well?
Yeah, I pour one for Matilda at the same time.
As you pour some, you kind of see him like swelling a little bit and kind of holding up to. You see part of his desk is a bunch of paperwork on his desk, and he kind of holds it over that to see it properly. And you kind of see him looking at it, very interested. Remarkable wine from Marcos, isn't it?
Finest in the land. Mother and father have done a fantastic job on this specific bottle.
He puts the glass down, and gets up, walks around to the case, grabs another bottle, which he then kind of proceeds to open and pour himself a little bit from that glass, and you see him kind of holding the two side by side. Yes, it seems to have an extra special ingredient in, doesn't it? You think I wouldn't recognise what an Arquos Red would look like? And given Matilda, when we first met, do you think I wouldn't recognise what a little Black Lotus in a drink would do?
We're just repaying what you gave me.
Well, I'm sure there are better ways to do that.
Where is he standing in regards to me?
He's just kind of background, so he's on the other side of the desk. So, What are you lot after then? I mean, we're well familiar with the normal corporate espionage and all that kind of stuff, but well, I suppose your connection is producing wine. It's not really a competitor of ours, and you seem to very much follow your own path, Mathilda, and it's not really one that I can't see you being concerned with anything we have going on here. So I assume it's nothing, nothing to do with the business that brings you here.
Do you remember when we met?
Of course.
We found a little trinket.
Yes.
In a safe. I'm looking for not something like that, but something special. Something different.
Interesting. Well, I mean, as you can see, we've got plenty of interesting things around. Any more details that you would care to give?
I'm gonna sidle back up to Hayward.
I have a plan right now.
I don't know, I really kind of trust him. He's the most reliable of any man I've ever had in my life. Funnily enough.
Does he need a little bit of persuasion? I'm assuming we're doing this through prearranged hand signals.
No, I'll probably just be like gesture to our purchases. 1 second, just need to confirm. And we're huddled. Being quiet.
I have a plan.
Okay.
Which would use 2 more, so it's not going to leave me with much. I offer him a fine bottle of whiskey. It's specific to me. And then I shake his hand. And I have some persuasion within my hand.
You say persuasion, do you mean like coin?
Nope. I have something that will encourage him to be compliant. And if he's not, then there would be consequences.
I'm not sure how worried I am about whether he's compliant or not. I'm just more so how much do you feel comfortable telling him? We can always come back to that as a backup if things
I was going to say, this is a good way to tell him what we need to tell him, give him all the information, knowing that there will be consequences if he decides to stab us in the back.
Okay.
Promise nothing will happen to him.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm up for it.
Cool.
Okay.
So I approach this gentleman, apologizing for the mix-up with the wine and promising to find out who did this and reprimand the factory worker over in Arcros that managed to do this to a bottle of wine without my knowledge, and offer him a bottle of fine whiskey from my cupboard, which obviously I stashed in my jacket before I went because whiskey goes everywhere. And then I reach out a hand to shake his hand.
Make a roll for how persuasive this whole attempt is.
Come on. Lucky dice. Well, I dropped one on the floor, but the one I didn't drop on the floor was a 6.
Okay. Technically, it's worth just rolling the other one just in case.
Mm-hmm. That was a 1, but
Okay, fair enough. Just if you roll 2 6s, it's obviously a critical success, so worth checking if that happened. He kind of looks intrigued. You don't get the sense that he buys that it was a factory worker that slipped something into the wine, given that so coincidentally happened to be the one that you chose for him and opened without him seeing. But at the very least has had enough similar attempts being made that he doesn't really seem to take it very personally, and is kind of takes the bottle of whiskey.
does he reach out to shake my hand with a gesture of goodwill?
Not yet. Yes, takes the fine bottle of whiskey. Well, it's very kind of you to. You kind of see him slightly distractedly, just holding up and checking things.
Very fine vintage, sir. One of my favourites.
Yes, and obviously it wasn't my concern, but it's obviously very kind of you to make a gift. Yes. Sorry, so what was it you wanted?
I just wanted to apologise for the mix-up, and I hope you enjoy the vintage. Hold up my hand to him again.
He kind of slightly tentatively accepts it.
Cool. And as he does that, I reveal that I have a concealed palm pistol. And I keep hold of his hand with that pistol pointed at him.
I thought it was going to be something else.
He just kind of gives you a look, Matilda. Really? This is the sort of gentleman you're consorting with?
Promise you, sir.
You realise the sort of security we have here, right?
Oh, we do. I'm just saying, sir. Provide us with any information we may need, and we shall leave quietly.
Yes, and if I don't and you shoot me, then both of you will get killed by the security coming here and no one wins. So I don't really see how this how this works out for anyone.
I didn't know exactly what he had. I thought it was something else. He's a friend. I can't like.
If you're assuming it was a brain, I think you might have been mistaken.
I turn to Matilda's point and ask her explicitly if she trusts him.
I don't trust anyone, but yeah, like out of everyone, you know, it's.
So I retract the pistol and let go.
That's a good fellow. Now, what was it that you were looking for again?
We don't know exactly what it looks like.
Just for reference, there's kind of enough scribbled in the notes, and from what you can see in the box, that you've got a pretty good idea of what it looks like.
Okay.
So you can obviously recount.
Okay, right. Okay, well, I will describe. Claire doesn't know what it looks like.
Yeah, sorry, Claire doesn't necessarily know because effort to describe things, but Mathilda
Matilda will know.
knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think I know the one you're talking about. I could be wrong though. It's familiar. We've got a few similar things. Someone at some point went through a phase of thinking that such small carved trinkets in meeting rooms was a good addition for scenery or something. I don't know. Anyway, yes. I think I know. I think I know where it is. It's one of the meeting rooms. I can't remember which one. Come with me. He gets up from behind the desk.
Follow.
Hey, would you bring anything else stupid with you? Mathilda, do you bring anything else stupid other than this guy?
I don't appreciate how you're talking to my friend right now.
Well, he did pull a gun on me.
I know he pulled
a
gun. He's protective.
Drugs in my wine. I mean.
Well, I mean, I had something to do with that, so let's be real.
Well, that just makes it sound more fun then. He kind of leads you down the corridor, through again more of the sort of slightly maze-like upper section of the building. It's at this point it's probably about half full. The meeting rooms, this kind of section of the building is reasonably quiet because no one really wants to schedule a meeting for this sort of time. And so there's kind of basically a corridor with a bunch of different meeting rooms on it. There's probably about 8 meeting rooms in total of different sizes. He turns to the two of you and says, "Well, it's in one of these. I can't remember which one. So shout if you find it. I'll start on this one, but you might as well. You might as well split up and see what we can find."
Okay.
Cool. So between the three of you, make a roll on something to do with looking and finding things.
I mean, I'm hunting down an object.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
Cool.
2 4s.
5 and a 2. Man, 5s are the number today.
Cool. So between the two of you, you start going into rooms and sort of poking around. Basically, what you're finding is like on the tables, there's sort of different, slightly themed, like little carved, mainly wooden, but some other materials as well. All of them have kind of small like bookshelves on them that have got just fancy looking books. There's no like thematic consistency on any of them. It's just people just found fancy books and filled the meeting room with them to look clever. And so kind of windowsills also have what's it called, like little things put on them between like potted plants and normal other just stuff that decorates an office. You both have a quick from the first couple you go in, you think things look like they've been disturbed a little bit.
As in, like, someone else was looking for things before us.
Yep.
Okay.
And then at the same time, you hear kind of a surprised cry, and then the sound of something hitting the floor with quite a thud.
Go find the cry. Go for him. Go looking for it.
As you enter the room that you think you heard it from, you both kind of run in at the same time. You see what I would say is not the most pleasant scene that you could possibly see, with Egbert having been clearly had his throat slit with a knife, and him lying on the floor.
Shit. And, like, looking, like, is there anyone else in the room?
You can't see anyone else in the room.
Anyway, I can study what is around to see where the perpetrator may have gone.
Yes, go make a roll for it.
5 and a 1.
It's hard to see much in the way of signs. It's a little bit difficult to properly understand what's happened. You can see there's a couple of little bits of blood kind of moving away from the body, and then a little bit of, like, where it looks like it's been kind of scraped off on the carpet, and it's kind of going further into the room, so into, like, the far corner. This is a relatively large meeting room, so there's kind of a big long board table in the middle, which you can see has some items on it, but not necessarily equally spaced. And then kind of in the corner, so he's kind of down the side, and it's kind of then into the far corner that you can slightly see it. Is kind of where it looks like the blood slightly trails, and then has been kind of wiped off on the carpet. But as you look down there, there's nothing you can see.
Probably would have tried to, like, feebly stop the bleeding, like, uselessly.
No, you carry on with that.
I was gonna say make a roll for it, but I mean, I don't really know what for. It's not gonna be successful.
Yeah, no.
How not covered in blood you are, I don't really know.
Kind of like, kind of rub my hands on his clothes, like, quickly check his pocket.
I mean,
not in a, malicious way. I think it's more so like out of panic, like.
There's some, like an ID badge and a couple of checks in there.
Okay. And as it goes further, are there any windows into the meeting room apart from, or any other doors?
There are windows down the side. They're all closed.
I want to look around the room, see if I can find anything that may indicate an exit, like a secret book or something that would be a secret passage in or out of this room.
Yeah, make a roll.
Can I help in any way?
6 and a 4.
there is definitely not one. Having been in some of the other rooms and kind of sensing the layout of it, this room as it is makes sense. There's clearly nothing like hidden below it, and there's no kind of space for there to be a secret passage, either side. There's windows on the side, they're all closed.
I'm gonna kind of sit there. I just kind of stare and kind of go a bit useless, like just go into a little bit of shock. I kind of, hey, what the fuck do we do? You're a scientist. Like, can we fix this?
He's dead.
Like, no, he can't. Like, don't be dead.
That is dead.
Right. Okay.
Oh, sorry. When you checked it, sorry, I forgot something. When you checked his body, did you make a roll on anything? I don't think you did. No, should have made a roll. Make a roll.
Okay. Oh yeah, I don't survey, hunt. Just can you hunt in something you don't know what you're looking for? I don't survey. I'm
That probably makes the most sense.
Yeah. Cool. 3.
All right. As you're kind of panically trying to do things, Haywood, why did you make a roll in terms of having come over and checking that he's definitely dead?
2 2s.
Right. Well, you both do a terrible job of searching this body. As a few minutes go by of you kind of trying to work out what to do. At which point you notice that actually underneath the body is the thing that you're looking for. You also start to hear some footsteps making their way up. They're a little bit in the distance, but you can hear there are people on their way.
How far is it from the window to the floor? I can hear sirens. Literally.
They're not sirens. It's just like some people making their way up to this room.
No, just canonically in real life, I just heard sirens.
Incredible timing.
I'm gonna kind of panic and like pick up the body.
I'm gonna
Be
quickly
like, right.
swipe the artifact as she picks up the body.
Like, hey, where we can't like leave him here.
You want to go to prison for his death?
It's not my fault.
But your footprints are all over him.
Yeah, but I can't.
Your handprints.
My footprint's fair though.
Your footprints just from walking all over his heart.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like we can't leave him here. I look out the window.
No, this plan's not going to work. No, I'm not going to go down that route. No, I'm not going to do it.
Gonna do what?
No.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! I am putting my foot down. No.
That's why I said no. We're not gonna do it.
Look out the window. What's out the window?
We're just gonna throw
How high
his body
up?
out the window.
No, I just want to see what's outside the window.
So this as you look look out and look down, what you can see is the corrugated iron roof of the delivery section. So this is obviously second floor, so you're looking down on that kind of extension onto the main factory for where they bring in deliveries.
Okay. And then I'm gonna. How did the footsteps sound? Like close, like as in. If I peek my head out the door. I'm gonna peek my head out the door and see.
They're not quite that close yet.
Okay, I'm gonna peek my head out the door and see, like. Check the corridor.
So right now the corridor's clear. You can kind of hear it. They're coming down the corridor, but there's still a little bit. You reckon you probably got a couple of minutes for them to actually get into this room. It doesn't sound like they're walking with like a super amount of purpose to get specifically here. More that someone's doing kind of rounds.
Okay.
At the end of the day, kind of thing.
And did we come down from the office? As in, like, did we change?
On the same floor, so you're still on the
same
second floor.
And are they towards his office, or like as in, can we make our way towards his office, or like are they blocking the path?
Make a roll in terms of how well do you tracked a somewhat unpleasant set of corridors.
I'm like that's survey, and 4 and a 6.
Okay. Yes. So from the 2 points that you've come in, you're sort of getting the sense that the corridors are not neatly, but roughly in a square setting. You kind of came up in the bottom right, and you sort of were led through sort of this end up, and then a little bit to the left and into the section. They're coming in up to where you are from kind of the other side, so you reckon if you did, you'd have to move quite quickly, but you'd be able to kind of go round and then to the office in a different direction to where they're coming.
I'm thinking right now.
Took him in his office with a suicide note. Because that's what I'm thinking.
But the blood would lead from here to the office. I'm saying we leave him. We make a break for the office and make our escape. His workers and security find him, and then it's up to the police to establish who killed him. And we are not implicated.
Okay.
Especially if we go the route that we flashback, we were wearing gloves the entire time because we were criminals.
Do you want to do that or not?
Yeah, like it's a legitimate strategy to clear up fingerprints from the scene.
I think it would be a take 1 stress flashback.
I could deal with that to not be implicated in this murder.
Less obviously implicated in this murder.
That'll do.
Cool.
I would, as long as Matilda's happy with that.
Okay.
And we leave him and his employees to solve this murder, and we make a getaway with the artifact.
Out of interest, who's currently holding it?
I am, because Matilda picked up the body and I grabbed it from underneath.
Yep, makes sense. Who's currently closer to the body?
I'm holding the body. I said I picked up the body, like, in a panic. I'm probably covered in his blood.
Cool. Right. Yes, I'd forgotten you picked up the body.
That
Are you going to do anything with it?
kind of lay him back down. Like, when we decide that, like, right, break, if we're agreeing to break for it.
As you kind of drop the body,
Lay him back down.
as you lay the body back down, you feel something grab the. Presumably, you kind of bent over to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You feel something grab the back from kind of behind your neck. From your perspective, Hayward, you see a very suddenly confused Mathilda being dragged away, slowly materializing into visibility. Is a familiar figure in some sense. It is a figure that you would recognize as Eli, were it not for somewhat decomposed skin and blazing red eyes, holding Mathilda round the neck with a knife, obviously covered in blood. Now then, I see you have something of mine, and I'd very much like it back.
Can I panically, like, reach into my jacket and pull out a spirit bane charm? I don't know if this will work.
In theory, yes. I guess the question would be whether you can kind of get to it in time. So yeah, make a roll.
I don't even know what, like.
Well, I guess the question is, like, are you going? I'm trying to think what you've got dots in.
Finesse.
Whether
I don't
it's
know.
like maybe a finesse or maybe a prowl, you could argue, if you were trying to get away with it by being a bit more subtle about it, or finesse to kind of quickly grab it and try and use it on him.
Yeah, I guess finesse. And can I push myself? I feel like, this is reasonable to.
Yeah.
Myself.
Take 2 stress and add 1 extra die.
Cool. Run. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and quickly pull it out. Oh my god. A 4 and a 2.
Okay. As you kind of go for it, he spots what you're doing, and from his kind of position of having kind of arm around the neck, he kind of goes to grab you, and kind of hand behind the back, kind of slam you into a wall. As he kind of does that, you just about manage to get a hand to a spirit bane, and sort of on him just as you kind of go smash into a wall. I think that would be level 2 harm, from being smashed face first into a wall. But as you kind of get the spirit bane onto him at the same time, you kind of hear him sort of almost howl out and kind of shrink away from where you are.
I have 2 options right now, and I want to do them both, as I hate this prick. Because I also have a Spirit Bane charm, which would be my final slot. As this happens, because obviously he's not going to be focused on me as this is happening, can I whip out my Spirit Bane charm and throw it at him as this is happening?
Yep. Make a roll.
That's obviously not a study roll. Or a console.
No.
Unless I'm studying his weaknesses and aiming for that. I'll call it a finesse. Fuck's sake. Just remembered my dice tray. 5.
Okay. You do manage to get the Spirit Bane out. Spirit Bane charm out even. And get it in his direction. It does enough to kind of bounce off him and again kind of send him right back into the corner and slightly trapped with where the two of them have landed. But you also hear footsteps getting a lot closer.
And
If he's trapped in this Spirit Bane little trap thing that we've set up, I'm assuming the guards will see him when they come round.
I
mean, he'll be able to run over the table from it, but it'll be a little bit of effort and quite training for him to kind of get through to that. So you've got a little bit of time to kind of, if you're gonna for what you want to do, you've got a little bit of time now to.
I have another thing that I can use.
Go for it.
I have electroplasmic ammunition, and I can unleash a barrage of rapid fire to suppress an enemy.
That
We
could
can
work.
run.
That was better than my plan. My plan was, while he was pinned there, hold up a hand to say stop, and then reach in and pull out the artifact. And as I'm doing that, with distracted by the artifact, unleash the palm pistol into his face.
I'm gonna.
I think yours works better.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. Like we're gonna make a run for the door, and I'm just gonna start shooting that as we're running to keep him back.
Go for it, and then hopefully he'll run into them, and then it's not a problem. And then we go back to the fucking mansion and raise an army.
Yeah.
So I have to push myself to do it. So take another shoe stress, and then I assume just make a roll for shoot, is it?
So it'd be hunt.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. So go hunt and no 1 and a 4.
At least good enough that you kind of see him dive sort of under the table and then slightly back out again and then slightly back under. Clearly a little bit uncomfortable with how close he has to get to the Spirit Bane charms as you start shooting, but also very much not wanting to get hit by electroplasmic bullets, which, if your plan is to run, as presumably you've kind of backed away to the door as you're shooting, that being your plan. Yeah.
Yeah, we're making a break for it. Just not trying to hide. I'm just running.
All right.
So
as you do, there's a couple of so the footsteps you were hearing, there's two different security guards that are kind of basically coming the other way down the corridor, which you pretty much bump into with a Mathilda covered in blood. One of them kind of slightly grabs you, like, oh, what's going on here then?
I'm just screaming. I'm just screaming, run in his
Run!
face.
And I'm just, run! Zombie! Fucking zombie!
And then going for it.
I don't even stop running. I just try and barrel through them.
But, like, as
Alright.
if I'm telling him to, well, I am telling him to run. I'm probably in a state.
Yeah, make a roll.
Yeah, okay. Man. Oh, God. Right, I'm going to use this dice.
For how well you manage to barrel past them,
Oh, wait, that's him.
or for Mathilda to kind of duck out of them, sort of, not like he's not like grabbing you, but like they're they're deliberately kind of trying to block your progress, and got like a kind of arm on you.
I got a 6 in the one dice I rolled.
I'm
Actually,
going to...
yeah.
Oh,
wait, no. Sorry. No dots is 2 dice and the lowest number, right?
Yep.
5.
Okay. No, 4 again.
Okay. Well, you both do just manage to kind of wriggle away from them. They are a little bit torn. One of them goes in the direction you've come from. The other one kind of starts chasing after you, and shouting after you. Wait, stop! Where are you going? What's going on?
Keep running.
Yeah, keep running.
Keep running and don't look back.
Keep running.
Cool. Going to assume that you roughly from understanding the layout, you go down, you kind of make your way to the stairs that you came up on. It brings you out onto that second floor. You've got then the security guard chasing after you. As you go down onto the first floor, onto that railing area. There's some people left in, so it's kind of 5 o'clock, so we're kind of at the end of the day shift. So you can kind of see there's a bunch of people on the floor who are kind of just like packing up and chatting a bit, and they kind of hear a bit of a commotion and start looking up at you. There's then the foreman who has kind of come out of the office and was doing some kind of shouting down at people. Looks over at the two of you and kind of as he does, the security guard behind you is like shouting, "Stop them, they're running away," and he kind of stands himself in the way. It's not the widest it's quite a narrow walkway, so you're not quite able to run like side by side. You're kind of one after the other, and he's just kind of stood in the middle to try and just block where you are.
I'm gonna run and try to slide between his legs.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Go for it. Make a roll.
Nice and No, I'm not going to finish that sentence because these are going to make it weird. The blood will help with the slide. Right. Finesse, I guess. The 2.
You know
Okay.
what? Oh no, I'll let you deal with that before I come to my plan.
All right. Okay. I was going to say the blood does not help.
Fair.
Turns out that this floor is not very good for sliding, and blood is not very good at dried blood anyway at this point is not very good for helping you slip down, and you kind of just crash into him. You knock him down. He kind of falls on top of you, but yeah, he's now kind of in the way. Haywood, make a roll to see if you manage to not get tangled up in this.
Well, I'm assuming that would be a finesse roll, or
Yeah, that makes sense.
none of my other one, like study, consort, or sway. Isn't
Yeah,
gonna
no,
work.
you're not going to study your way out of it. That's for sure.
I'm not going to consort my way out of it either.
Nope.
I can try. 6.
Nicely done.
I just like hurdle over it.
Yeah, you see all this happening. You kind of hurdle over it, pretty much.
I-
Yeah.
Can I land on the other side and point my palm pistol at him and tell him to fuck off? Or at least stand up so that Mathilde can stand up.
So at the guy on the floor.
Yeah.
The security guard, as you do that, pulls out a revolver of his own. That he points at you.
I reach into my jacket and pull out a pistol, and that's my final load.
The guy on the floor, obviously seeing you do that,
I'm doing the cowboy thing of 2 guns up, pointing in directions.
sort of scrambles out the way and like, you know, like a rugby player trying to make it look like they're definitely not like holding on the ground. It's like, it's very much that sort of vibe, like scrambling out of the way. And security guard kind of, point with the two of you pointing the gun at each other.
He's now got 2 guns on him if the other guy's moved.
I mean, it doesn't make that much difference to him, but sure. He's kind of staring at the two of you.
Look, buddy.
Do you mind telling me what's going on here?
We didn't do anything. I know it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. There was something upstairs. Tried to kill us.
Make a roll for how persuasive this is.
Good thing I had these are my 2 good ones.
Can I set him up by like crying
Sure.
and screaming
and if
ghost?
Treat this as a group action in that way. You can
Okay.
also roll. Was it sway you were rolling?
Yeah, I'll go sway. I'm not trying to consort him.
No, it's not really a consort. So yeah, if you
Not
roll
yet.
sway.
But I rolled
Oh,
5 and a 1.
I got 2 6s, but it is like I take the worst of the 2.
Yeah, it's sadly not a critical success, but
Okay.
you've got 2 dots in sway, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no stress taken from that, and you kind of see him sort of slowly lower his gun away from you in a kind of, okay, I get you.
I lower.
Let's
I
not
lower
shoot
mine,
each other,
sorry.
sort of way.
Yeah, I lower mine. Look, buddy. Your friend upstairs is probably in danger right now. We're running because we are shit scared for our life. You might want to help him.
Okay. As this kind of been going on, obviously other people have seen what's happened, and there's sort of 4 more security guards who have kind of made their way into the same sort of area. One of them, who looks like they're more in charge than the rest, points at one of them, what looks like the kind of youngest one, and says, "Go see to them. The rest of you with me," and leads most of them upstairs. The youngest one kind of goes to the 2 of you, and says, "So what happened up there?" You see him just kind of pull out a notebook and.
Well, we were talking to your boss. He was showing us around the meeting rooms. Lovely establishment you got here. Allowing us to have a look around. We heard a noise. Because he just let us wander around for a bit. We heard a noise. We went back to the room where he was. And he was dead. And we were trying to find out what happened. Hence the blood, trying to make sure he was alive. Unfortunately, we were too late. And next thing we knew, Mathilde was being dragged away. And whatever was dragging her away kind of manifested into reality, and we threw some things at it to try and push it back. And if you go into the room, you'll see some spirit bane charms that we used to protect ourselves, and we ran because we were scared.
Okay. He's kind of scribbled that down. And sorry, you said it was Mathilda and what was your name?
Haywood.
Okay. Obviously, if there's any follow-up investigation questions, we'll obviously be in touch.
I'm in hysterics the whole time.
Yeah.
Just if that's funny. I'm not sitting there silently.
He's kind of leading you down the stairs. He kind of looks at the two of you. I don't know how clean Haywood's outfit is. Obviously, Mathilda's is not very.
Nope.
I mean, I don't know if you want to keep this outfit, but obviously we've got some spare work clothes if you like to change before you leave. And if you want to drink or anything, I mean, I don't know how much you'd want to maybe have a sit down before you leave, or if you'd rather head straight out. Obviously, we'll take it from here, but yeah, obviously it's very very stressful experience for the two of you. So have you got anything you'd like, or I mean, you probably cause a bit of a stir if you walk down the street looking like that. Sorry, that sounded really rude. No, I didn't. Sorry, I'm quite new. I didn't mean. I just meant covered in blood. You look great. Different. You'd normally. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But
Do you have a jacket?
Yes.
I just want to go home.
It's fine. I can take her home.
Okay. He yeah, just kind of there's big kind of what would they be? Basically big kind of overcoat type things that are basically, for if they have to do any like repairs on the roof, they can just kind of stick it on, keep warm whilst they do a thing, and then come back inside if it's cold. So he just kind of grabs one to hand to you. That you kind of, it's how tall is Mathilda? I was kind of assuming your size, but
I mean, no, I probably would have said she was a little bit taller, but like she's not tall. She's like probably about like 5'5", 5'6".
Well, Haywood takes off his jacket as well, which isn't quite as long as an overcoat. He sees the jacket that he's going for, and Haywood's isn't quite as long as an overcoat. It's only like thigh length, and he takes his jacket off, and puts it over Mathilde, so she's not drowning in a jacket.
Oh.
Yeah, they kind of come back with, it's a little bit big for Mathilda, but also is one, very warm, and two, yes, does a very good job of, you can easily kind of wrap it around and
hide the gore.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. I guess you still need to return the horse and cart.
We take Whiskey Mark II back.
I mean, I would have just been kind of sitting there like, can we go home first?
Haywood takes control of the reins and drives by the mansion to drop Matilda off home, and then returns the horse and cart.
Please make a roll for this.
What sort of roll am I making for this? Based on the history, I know what roll I want to make.
You can't make a consort roll on horses.
Well, how about a sway?
You know what? Go for it. Do it.
I gotta stop dropping my dice. This is why you need a dice tray.
You don't have a dice tray?
I left it in the house.
Oh, right, okay.
Since then, I've dropped about 6 dice. 4 and a 3.
Okay, well, you don't kill anyone trying to ride the horse and cart back, and that I think we'll consider a success. And yeah, on that, I think we can call the score there. Thanks so much for joining for today's episode of Blades in the Dark. As always, there'll be a link to the previous episode in case you missed it and would like to catch up. The finale of this series will be live on Twitch on Saturday the 18th of December. Until the next time I see you, I hope you have a great day.